You ever wake up, look out your front window, and wonder if you're still dreaming, or if somebody's seriously trying to sell your house while you're still living in it? Yeah, well, that happened to me. And before you ask, nope, this isn't one of those urban legend stories your cousin tells at Thanksgiving. This is real, and honestly, the more I talk about it, the funnier, crazier, and more ridiculous it sounds. Because my own HOA president, Marilyn Crane, clipboard queen and chief of the sidewalk police, decided to list my actual, occupied home as abandoned property, while I was still making sandwiches in my pajamas. She even picked a real estate office with security cameras. Oh, you can bet I had popcorn ready for this one. It was a Tuesday, just your regular, plain vanilla Tuesday. Coffee way too strong, my dog barking at the mailman like it's his job, sun out, nothing weird in the air, until my phone rings. Some real estate agent, all business, asks when I'd like to schedule my move-out inspection. Now, at first, I think, okay, this is a scam, right? Maybe some telemarketer who got creative. But the woman's dead serious, reads my address, gives me the lot number, all that. She says my place is officially on the market, and the paperwork says I already moved out. I almost spit coffee all over my counter. I told her, ma'am, I'm literally standing in my kitchen, in my pajama pants, eating a sandwich. You sure you got the right house? She says, well, someone submitted documents stating you'd abandoned the property. It's under HOA management now. And then she gives me a name, Marilyn Crane. If you've ever lived under an HOA, you know that name hits you like a cold splash of water. Marilyn was the type who walked her dog with a tape measure, checked trash cans for code violations, probably ironed her bedsheets. The second I heard her name, I knew this wasn't some honest mistake. This was Marilyn being Marilyn. So, I step outside, sandwich still in hand, pajamas on, and see her across the street, flanked by some woman with a camera. When she spots me, you'd think she saw a ghost back for revenge. Oh, you're still here, she stutters, like it's a shock to find the homeowner actually home. I just say, yeah, I live here. You know, like a regular person? Marilyn starts rambling about some miscommunication, says she thought the house was empty because of neglect. Neglect. Lady, my grass is greener than your entire personality. But she's persistent. Later, I get a little love note taped to my door, a formal HOA citation accusing me of letting the place deteriorate. Said the house appeared abandoned and deteriorating. I laughed so hard I almost pulled something. My house is painted fresh, the mailbox is straight, the flowers are blooming. Meanwhile, Marilyn's just trying to set up a paper trail. She wanted it to look official so she could list my place as abandoned. At that point, I decided, okay, play along. No yelling. Not yet. Time to gather proof. So I call that real estate office again, pretending to be just a clueless homeowner. I say I'm relocating. Ask when Marilyn called them. Turns out, she already signed paperwork claiming the HOA had authority to sell my house for me. According to Marilyn, I'd up and vanished. No forwarding address. The reality? My Amazon packages are stacked up out front like a Lego tower, and my dog's scaring off half the neighborhood. I called my buddy Mark, who manages apartments downtown, just to see if I'm losing my mind. Mark laughs so hard I can barely understand him. Then he tells me, yeah, this is fraud. Real estate fraud, identity fraud, trespassing. Maybe all of the above. I start grinning. Because if there's one thing I learned in life, it's that people like Marilyn always think they're smarter than everybody else until they're not. So, the next morning, I leave for work, like normal, except I just circle the block and sneak back, ducking behind my own bushes like a cartoon spy. Around 10 a.m., who rolls up but Marilyn in her blinding pink blazer? Honestly, that thing could guide ships in a storm, plus 2 real estate folks. She opens my gate with a key she shouldn't have, starts giving them a tour, like she's hosting a home makeover. Show. Been empty for months, she tells them. We'll stage it, quick sale, all cash offers. One agent frowns. You're sure the owner's gone? Marilyn, not missing a beat, positive. Haven't seen the man in ages. I handle everything for the HOA. So I just stroll up, cup of coffee in hand. Morning, Marilyn. Haven't been seen in ages, huh? The agents nearly drop their clipboards. Marilyn's smile goes so stiff it could snap. Oh, there you are. Just, checking for squatters. Sure you were. One of the agents whispers, "We'll need to verify all of this." And they get out of there so fast it's almost impressive. Marilyn's left standing in my driveway, clutching her clipboard like a life preserver. "This is a misunderstanding," she says. But I just ask, delinquent for what? Owning a house you're jealous of? That night, my security cameras catch Marilyn creeping back around midnight, trying to take more documentation. Photos, because, I guess, the more fake evidence she has, the better her story. I call the cops. They give her a warning, nothing more. But here's where it gets fun. The real estate office? They'd already started an internal investigation, and those security cameras at their place? They caught everything. Marilyn's little real estate tour, in 4K, broad daylight. 2 days later, my phone rings. It's Chris, the regional manager at the real estate company. He's trying to sound calm, but you can tell he's both furious and loving the drama. "Sir, I think you'll want a copy of this footage." So I drive over, and he plays me the tape. There's Marilyn, waving her arms around, telling the agents I'd disappeared, calling my house a total eyesore. Chris just shakes his head. "We've reported this to local authorities," he says. "She forged documents. This is criminal." He hands me a flash drive, says, "You didn't get this from me, but I'd love to see how the HOA spins it." That night, I print out every citation, every forged notice, line them up on my kitchen table like evidence for a crime show. I even label them: Exhibit A, forgery; Exhibit B, lying. You get the idea. Then, I walk into the next HOA meeting, phone set to record. The room goes dead silent. Marilyn's at the head of the table, looking like a smug judge sipping her lemon water. Mr. Grant," she says, "we were just discussing your noncompliance issues." I smile, plug in the USB drive, and hit play on the projector. The whole room watches Marilyn give her fraudulent sales. Pitch on camera. You could hear jaws hitting the floor. One board member's mouth is wide open. Marilyn tries to cut in. "It's out of context." "Sure, Marilyn. Maybe the context changes the part where you broke into my mailbox." Then Paul, the treasurer, quiet old guy, always minds his business, stands up. "Marilyn, did you really try to sell his house?" She's stammering. "No, I was just helping the community." Paul shakes his head, says, "You forged property records, Marilyn. That's felony-level stupid." The whole room starts buzzing. Someone whispers, "I knew she was power-hungry." And another mutters, "She fined me for my trash can." Marilyn turns red, huffs about being unappreciated. "I've kept this place running for years." I lean in and tell her, "Now you'll be running it." From a courtroom, Paul calls for an emergency board vote, and in 10 minutes, Marilyn's out. She storms off, shouting about ungrateful peasants. I think, okay, that's that, until the next morning, when I find a huge "for sale" sign on my lawn again. Only this time, it's spray painted with foreclosure in red. And who's parked at the end of the street but Marilyn, pretending to be on her phone? I wave. She drives off like she's fleeing a bank robbery. This time, the cops take it seriously. I hand over the flash drive, the fake documents, the sign. The officer looks at it all and says, "She's going to have a real fun time with the judge." As news spreads, my neighbors start coming over, one by one, thanking me. Turns out Marilyn had been terrorizing everyone for years, finding a veteran for flying his flag, banning Halloween decorations, telling an elderly couple their garden gnomes were a threat to uniformity. People are done being scared. That weekend, the whole block turns into a cookout. We roast Marilyn's old letters over the grill. Somebody sings "Hit the Road, Jack" with a cardboard cutout of her. It's the happiest I've ever seen my street. But it's not over yet. A week later, I get a letter from the county real estate fraud department. Marilyn Crane is officially under investigation. Turns out I'm not even her first victim. She's been trying to flip empty vacation homes for years, collecting fake processing fees from buyers. I get a call from Detective Alvarez, who asks if I'd testify in court. I nearly choke laughing. "Detective, I'll bring popcorn." When the court date rolls around, half the neighborhood shows up. Marilyn tries to look innocent in her beige suit, but when they play the security footage, she just withers. The prosecutor asks her to identify me. She does, and then says, "The homeowner you claimed was missing for months?" The room cracks up. Even the judge can't hide a grin. Marilyn tries one last excuse. But the evidence is all there. The judge says, Miss Crane, you didn't just make a mistake. You made a business out of lying. She's found guilty, gets probation, a fine, and a restraining order. And, best part, the HOA is dissolved, at least until new leadership is found. For the first time in decades, we're HOA free. That night, the block throws the biggest party yet. Fireworks, banners, a cake shaped like a pink blazer. Someone even makes for sale signs with Marilyn's name crossed out. I can't count how many people toast to the guy who saved the neighborhood. A few months later, a moving truck pulls up next door. Young couple, new faces. The same realtor Marilyn tried to con smiles and says, Mr. Grant, we made sure everything's legit this time. They ask about the HOA rules. And I just grin, there aren't any. We sent those packing. Life goes back to normal. No more bogus fines, no late-night patrols, no drama. Turns out, people take care of their homes just fine. Without a dictator with a clipboard. I even get a letter from the county. Thanks for my help, a check to reimburse legal expenses, and a note. Your vigilance helped prevent further fraud. Sometimes, when I walk past the old HOA office, mailbox still marked M. Crane, I think, let that be a warning. Don't mess with homeowners who are very much alive. So if your HOA president ever claims your house, looks abandoned, check your listings, seriously. You never know, they might be trying to sell it right under your nose. And if they do, make sure the cameras are rolling. There's nothing sweeter than watching a power-drunk HOA queen crash and burn on her own scheme. If you got a kick out of this story, hit subscribe, ring the bell, and drop your own wild HOA story in the comments. Let's talk justice. Where's the line? Who's crossed it? And how would you have handled Marilyn? I'll see you next time. And trust me, the next chapter gets even wilder.